Everybody, welcome back to Radio Mythoverse, official podcast of the Mythoverse. As always, your hosts are Brett McGowan, writer, creator of Changeling and Urban Fairy Tale, and head of community outreach and public relations, and our head writer and my business partner, Matt Trin.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And also writer, creator of Mythics, which I nearly forgot to mention.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, why didn't you call me out on it?
You'd realize eventually.
Yeah, but come on. You're my partner. You're supposed to call me out on mistakes. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do with each other.
Well, it's a lot more fun to see how long it takes you to realize it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, well, this is our first show after Halloween has ended. We didn't record anything last week, and we'll get to that in a minute. But, yeah, just, well, Halloween just came and went. So, I don't know about you guys.
In Michigan.
Didn't snow in Washington. Might have rained a little, though. But yeah, I mean, like, for me, it just sort of came and went. I mean, I didn't have to go to work or anything, but, you know, could just stay home. I ended up binging the Cartoon Network miniseries called Over the Garden Wall, which, honestly, that should be a Halloween tradition in more households if it isn't already.
It probably is.
I mean, it was really good. I don't want to get into it now because it's, you know, like I said, Halloween's already come and gone. Not sure if it's the best time to be talking about it, but I might have it for next year.
And depending on where you live, it's either Thanksgiving or Christmas. That's the next holiday.
Well, you and I are both in the States, so Thanksgiving's up next. Sadly, that's not a holiday that gives us as much to talk about as Halloween, and which is a shame because I really do like Thanksgiving. But
Well, it's all about eating, basically, and giving thanks for what we got.
yeah, but we can save all that. We can save all that talk for another episode later in the month.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing else is really kind of going on my end other than that I just started watching Jujutsu Kaisen on a lark just because I figured I haven't watched any anime in a while. Well, and hey, this might look like fun. I know, Brett's late to catching up on an anime that's already popular with everybody.
It's been, what, a couple of years since it was released or something?
I don't know. No, I have not. I would have to look up and find out.
I mean, the big thing now is Attack on Titan the final season, final chapter.
Like, final chapter of the final season, God. I do not think I have seen an anime's runtime on air get stretched out more artificially than Attack on Titan did.
Well, Gintama did, but they did it as a joke. Because you had, first, a sequel movie called The Final Chapter, then you had the final season, and then you had the movie, The Very Final.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, Gintama did it as a joke. Like, by the way, Jujutsu Kaisen aired in October 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, Gintama had a trial for the reason to see whose fault it was that they lied about the final chapter subtitle for a second movie.
Yeah. That's what they would do, though. That's what they would do. But yeah, but again, that's not stretching. They did not stretch that out artificially. Like, that was done intentionally as a joke, you said. But
Yeah, pretty much. I think they did the final chapter initially as a joke about how some animes finish before the manga does.
oh yeah, yeah, that classic Gintama clip. Everybody's seen it.
Yep.
But
Oh,
yeah,
by the way, the trial had the manga's creator on as
yeah,
a defendant.
in his gorilla persona.
Yeah. Basically, he is pronounced innocent because he's the creator.
Because of course he is. As of course. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, like, in the case of, like, Attack on Titan, like, why did they keep stretching it out? I mean, on the one
Funny.
hand, they did it without having to resort to using filler arcs. Okay, but it's like this anime took 10 years to finish its story.
I think if I want to be terrible, I'd say that it was an experiment to see if they can do the season. I do things by seasons rather than, and then just wait it all out for the manga to catch up.
I have been hearing that this is something that's happening more and more with other animes. Like, I think, they did this with My Hero Academia. They've been doing it with Demon Slayer. I think they're also doing it with Chainsaw Man. Would not be surprised if they're also doing it with Jujutsu Kaisen as well.
Yeah,
They're doing it and I think they're doing it just so that they don't burn the staff out. And also, like you said, it kind of gives the manga time to get a little more ahead, so they don't have to fall back on making up filler arcs. Which, I mean, that's something most anime fans would be glad to see go away.
yeah, because the fillers are generally time wasters.
Like their stories are completely inconsequential. They don't matter at all.
Yeah,
Like nothing of any real stake ever happens in a filler arc. I think filler
unless you
arc.
got
I think filler arcs were kind of why I ended up dropping Naruto and never went back.
at least when Dragon Ball had them, they were a rarity. Well, if you discount Dragon Ball GT.
Dragon Ball GT was like that. That's not even a filler arc. That's outright fan fiction.
Yeah, someone decided it'd be a good idea for Vegeta to have a mustache.
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that are good about GT, but there's a lot of really stupid stuff in it too. Although the official stuff that Toriyama ended up having to cook up to make up for GT comes with its own share of problems, but that's for another episode.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
Yeah.
I'd figure that if Dragon Ball Super is a weird show because it takes place about 10 years in between the time skip from the end of Boo to the series finale, and it makes the characters all that more powerful, but not really.
Like it's kind of got one of Dragon Ball. Like once Z started, like the power scaling kind of went out of control.
Oh yeah, hugely out of control.
Yeah. And much as I love Z, like it was one of the first anime I ever watched growing up, and I do have a lot of good memories associated with it. And I mean, I would say like there are some of like everything up to the end of the Cell arc, I would say is classic. It also kind of, if it didn't invent, it certainly popularized a lot of tropes that sort of ended up plaguing shonen and anime and manga for years.
Yeah, I think the bad guys become good guys was actually done by Space Ghost of Yamato, with how the main villain became an ally in later seasons.
Yeah, but anyway, like to get back to Attack on Titan, I mean, like Is no one even really going to tune into this? I mean, like, from what I hear, the ending was very divisive. Oh, wait.
From what I hear, it's not as bad as Game of Thrones, but it's not on the same level as making it as a classic.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I've even seen Cody talk about, like, how he didn't really like how Attack on Titan started out as sort of like a horror manga and then ended up becoming a war story as it went on.
Yeah. He figured they'd keep with the horror aspect, but then again, I don't know how they could have kept it going as a horror story without changing it after such a long publication period.
I suppose not. Although on the one hand, things also got super weird. Like, especially, I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying that somehow how they discover that everyone who uses the rogue Titan or whatever Titan that Aaron has, like, somehow they're connected to all the other people who have been host to that Titan throughout history, through all time and space. It gets really weird.
It sounds extremely convoluted.
Yeah, it kind of is. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, and then it gets super weird when you find out the source of the original Titan is some kind of centipede creature that bonded to the spine of some slave woman. Yeah, I don't care if I'm spilling Attack on Titan. It's already, everyone knows at this point. I'm not spoiling anything.
We might need to have a spoiler tag.
I do not. Oh, come on. Like I said, the manga's already over. So what am I ruining this for?
People who have not read it.
Look at it this way. If what I just said right now is making you think, wow, this manga sounds really weird and confusing, I'm not sure if I want to check it out, I might have just saved you some trouble. We'll say though, 3 episodes in and Jujutsu Kaisen's already got me interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about Attack on Titan really is that it was a live-action movie. The reviewers were very harsh on it.
And they were.
At one point, one of the critics said, "I was hoping for them all to die."
That's so good.
Because they were all doing really stupid things, like talking when they're supposed to be quiet during a Titan attack.
Like I said, that is so good.
There is gonna be one thing I'm gonna be really happy about with the show ending.
Yeah?
No more Twitter users talking about how the show is is a pro-fascism story.
I don't think it's a pro-anything story.
I think, yeah, that's how dumb Twitter is.
Like I said, it starts out pretty promising, but then just gets more and more bonkers as it goes on.
It's just convoluted, basically.
And unfortunately, it's not even the good kind of crazy. It's just the kind of crazy that just confuses you and frustrates you.
Well, speaking of crazy, did anyone notice that Big Trouble in Little China is on YouTube for free?
I mean, I'm not surprised. Dude, I saw Once Upon a Time in America for free on YouTube. That was months ago.
Another John Carpenter classic, In the Mouth of Madness, is on YouTube for free as well.
I think I might have seen Escape from New York up for free on YouTube as well. But yeah. It's kind of amazing what they put up for free there.
Yeah, well, it's got ads on, right?
Yeah, they're free with ads.
Yep.
Unfortunately, if YouTube would still let ad blockers work, Or that wouldn't be an issue, really. Yeah, I'll confess, I actually decided to bite the bullet and, well, I didn't take the ads.
Yeah.
God, I'm remembering why I put an ad block on in the first place.
Some really bad ads.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we can talk about the reason why we didn't have an episode last week, and that was because in preparation for Halloween, Matt had been cooking up something behind the scenes.
Yes, it was the first Mythics short story, The Witch's Child.
Mm-hmm.
It's up on our Patreon right now, and I'll be going up for general audiences on Wattpad and Campfire on Tuesday, I believe.
Okay, so here's a question: what kind of made you decide you wanted to do some prose fiction?
It's cheap.
Yeah.
Aside from that, it's been a while since I've actually done anything with prose, so it was fun getting it back into that, and it's actually interesting how much of it's unlike running a comic script. Prose will let you explore a character better. I guess I don't know how much to explain about it, but it just lets the character take control.
Well, if you're writing first person, I don't know about third person though.
Yeah, either way, it felt good having a story where to be able to write a story and get to know the character better. So I have something to work off of when I do go. I make more comics.
So, what exactly is like the briefest synopsis you can give without spoiling anything about the Witch's Child?
Basically, Althea Fletcher is on the case to find a child that was kidnapped. The child was placed into the Mythic Order's adoption process, where they basically send the children of their agents to be raised by normal families that they heavily investigate before sending them. In a way, a method of making certain that their enemies can't find the roots of this order, and letting it just survive. Short term is as a survival mechanism. And, well, Althea finds that there's more to this case than she bargained for.
Can you say whether or not, any of these kids who get put in this foster system, just end up living normal lives?
None of them, because I'd taken and extrapolated upon the idea that we worked with about how everyone has the ability to use magic in the Mythoverse.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, I thought, genetics I can see genetics playing a big role in how powerful a person can be. So, these kids are far more powerful as magic users than the average child. Fortunately, magic can't be activated by puberty, but rather through either extreme concentration, and I mean, they have to focus into something like, let's say, an ion they chose to be their focal point and draw power from, use that to help draw their power. Or if they've got a familiar nearby, which these kids will already, they do have their familiars, it's just that the familiars are basically staying away until the time is right, which is generally the child's 18th birthday. I guess in a way, these kids don't really have a choice other than to join, because there's also the Paladins, who, as the second faction in the Mythoverse, to be protectors of the mortal realm.
Yeah,
So,
they'll probably just take those kids and lock them up somewhere.
yeah, so basically, they don't really have much choice in that the Mythic Order can help protect them, or they can go their own way and eventually get caught by the Paladins.
Or,
Which I
or
could probably say that a number of the wizards working with the Paladins are ones who decide to do that.
I imagine there's probably been more than a few cases where they went rogue and became a big problem for everybody.
Yeah. So, and the antagonist of this short story, I guess you could say that I don't particularly believe in completely evil characters. This is a character who has her own motivations for what she does in this story. And all I gotta say is that the ending for this short is very bittersweet.
Oh, I bet. Since we've already got one short prose story up, are there going to be more coming?
Oh yeah, definitely. What I've got two others written up for their first drafts
Mhm.
because this is National Novel Writing Month.
Uh-huh.
I've got a Mythics project for that too. So I'm going to be giving free updates through Campfire and Wattpad for anyone who wants to follow along.
Alright. Okay, is there anything about this one you feel comfortable talking about right now?
It's based on a short film script that I wrote for Mythics back in 2020. It's your basic haunted house story, except that upon extrapolating on that, I decided I can do some more world building bits. So you'll find out what happens when either a familiar or one of their human partners is killed unexpectedly.
Oh.
What kind of whiplash that would affect the group because of their psychic connection. And there's also going to be a bit of a subtle reveal about how familiars and their human partners are bonded.
Okay, what about the other shorts? What can we expect there?
I wanted to say that the second one comes out this month, but since I'm working on the NaNoWriMo projects, I'd say I'm going to do the second one for December, and the third one will be released in January. I've got outlines for the next year. There's worth of stories, so look forward to that.
Mm-hmm. As far as stuff on my end goes, it's still concerned with mainly just getting work on Changeling issue 3 done. We took a bit of a hit production wise, because Rubbish had some computer trouble, but we got that solved over Friday. Things should be getting back on track pretty soon, which not only good for Changeling. There's also that also means we can get back to work on Pack of Bastards. As far as I know, like Zeno got all the work on his end taken care of, like all the pages he's drawn them all out. Now they just need to be cleaned up and lettered.
That's good.
And there was another project I had planned with Rubbish. This one not Changeling related. Actually, I'm not even sure you can even say it's really Mythoverse related, because I just had the idea, like, I guess I don't even know I don't know what kind of drove me to do it. I just thought to myself, hey, why not? Rubbish and I put together a children's book. and it's a children's book about Leo.
Well, technically, you could probably say it's Mythiverse related since it involves a cat.
Yeah, but he's never appeared in anything.
Well, he appeared in the streams.
Yeah, but is that the same thing? It's not like he exists. It's not like he exists in it. Although, oh, okay, actually, I take that back. Issue 2, the 2-page spread, Rubbish actually snuck him in there. I did not ask them to do it. They did it. They took it upon themselves to do it. You'll have to really search, but you can find him in there.
Well, now we know.
Yeah. He is in there. But I already paid Rubbish in advance for the Leo book. I actually had like a bit of a sort of a rough draft I've already put together. Now it just needs to be tidied up and edited and everything. It's kind of amazing because the art's pretty rough, but it actually looks like it could pass for a finished book. Yeah, it's not going to be much. You're just going to see Leo wanting to be able to go outside, and well, whether or not he actually ends up getting to do that, you'll have to wait and see. I did show Denise and my stepsister because my stepsister, she had her first kid, my niece, about a year or two ago, I think. My niece, she just loves animals.
I'm guessing that includes cats.
Oh yeah, my sister told me she wanted enough stuffed animals that she could sleep with a different one every night. And yeah, my stepmom even bought her a pair of these really cute pink bear slippers for her too when she and my dad were visiting my brother and me last summer. No, wait, no, it wasn't last summer. It was actually early this year. In the spring, actually. Oh. I told her ahead of time, and she was like, "I don't believe you." And then a month or two later, she texts me back and says, she texted me back with a video of my niece running around in those slippers, and I said, "Yeah, I told ya." And she said, "I didn't think my mom would buy those." I even tell with Rubbish about getting this is something we could probably get more than one story idea out of. Could probably make a whole bunch of books about Leo. Yeah, you've been good for something. Yeah.
Well, pets are always like that.
I don't know anyone else who's managed to make a whole book series about their pet. I mean, I'm sure someone has. I'm sure somebody has. I just haven't heard of it.
Yeah, to a degree, I think a lot of children's books about pets were probably based on the author's pets to some degree.
Hey, no biting. No biting, you.
Yeah. And Leo's biting.
He always bites. I believe you, but most of the books I grew up reading when I was a little kid were stuff like, Arthur and Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, Curious George, too. Actually, that one maybe. You know what? If it turned out the guy who made Curious George had a pet monkey, I'd be like, yeah, of course he did. Yeah, that I could actually see. At the time we were recording this, I do have another Airwaves update I'm going to be putting up on the Patreon that I talked with Neville about, which it's not related to the main story of the comic, but I do think it's something that the people who are going to be reading Airwaves are going to appreciate. It's something it's a little bonus. This that adds a little humor, some much needed levity.
No, absolutely.
Also, kind of, let me put it this way, really shows Neville's manga influence on his stuff too.
Which I can definitely see people really getting kind of drawing. That'll be what draws people to his work.
Oh yeah, I mean, like he's probably got one of the most appealing art styles I've ever seen. Like I don't, like his stuff is just like it's something that's instant. Like I said, it's just like it's hard to put into words, but it's like if you ever come across something where you just looked at it and you just immediately liked it, like you didn't even really need to think about it. Maybe it just has something to do with the fact that he's got a background in animation, but
More than likely, I figure that helps a lot with some artists.
yeah, it does. Because the thing with animation is ideally it should be pleasing to the eye. Yeah, I'm sure someone's gonna name like an Adult Swim cartoon where the aesthetic was intentionally ugly or something, but although I would say the caveat is it's intentionally ugly, like it's supposed to look like that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Although,
sometimes there's also the low budget forcing it to look ugly, so that's why they have to make it part of the stick.
yeah, I mean, I remember I wouldn't call Home Movies an ugly-looking cartoon for one, but it definitely was. It definitely looked very
low budget.
Yeah, well, I mean, and they weren't really banking on the animation to really be the selling point of it anyway. I mean, it looks distinct, yes, but really, I mean, I think what was kind of the draw of Home Movies was just more the dialogue and everything. Like, it was...
Yeah.
Like, I think I remember Doug Walker naming it in, a list he did, and he said, that was kind of... that was me back in college when I went to film school. Or studying film or something.
After seeing the Channel Awesome movies, I don't believe him about going to film school. I mean,
And maybe took a few film courses in college or something. I mean, don't quote me on that, but it's it was kind of relatable. That was the appeal of Home Movies.
yeah. So honestly, I do see, despite them not being good, I can see some passion the passion for making movies.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
I think that's what makes them appealing for some people, is that they can actually see the passion in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, if you look at some of the movies made by former Channel Awesome contributors, you just don't see the passion. It's just more of a ego project.
And then you got Red Letter Media, which can make something genuinely good, even if it's not exactly what you would call high art.
Yeah. The cinema snob, Brad Jones, he's known for making decent films. Cinema Snob, the movie, was a better movie than it should have been, because it's a movie about a online movie critic.
Didn't he also make his own horror movie too?
Yeah, he did a lot of short films. Whenever he was in one of those Channel Awesome movies, it didn't really feel like he was there just because he thought he was doing a good movie. It was more along the lines of him hanging out with his friends, friends at the time.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, but on the one hand, I do kind of I have kind of found myself sort of just vibing with stuff with home movies and, well, an anime I watched earlier this year called Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, which, if you guys don't know what that one's about, that's 3 high school girls they form their own anime club and they try to produce their own anime. And it's all about like all the challenges they face having to do it. Like they'd make a 5-minute short film that they show to their school. Then I forgot what the second one was. Oh wait, I remember what it was. The second one was like another short film for another one of the school clubs. It was the school's robot club. So they do like a short mecha anime film. Then they do like a whole short film for the entire city that they live in. As you know, like a community outreach thing. And like I said, it's all about like the challenges they face having to produce it, and the fact that they're all kind of amateurs. They don't have any real experience, but they all love what they're doing so much. It's like, yeah, that's going to speak to me, man, because I've got very little experience like making comics and much less running a comic business, but god damn if I do not like doing this.
It would be a waste if you're doing it just because you didn't like it.
I mean, I mean, doing this stuff like this gives me a reason to just slog through a job that I'm not all that passionate about, and which oddly enough I do really well at anyway. But but you know, it like I said, I vibe with that stuff just because I know what that's like. Like I know what it's just like to kind of like you grow up loving movies, you grow up loving anime, you grow up loving comics, and you want to make it yourself, and then you kind of find out just how challenging it is to do it, and
oh yeah.
But at the same time, you just kind of power through. There's a roughness to it all because you don't quite know some of, I guess you could say, the finer techniques or so and such. You don't understand it probably as well as people who've gone to school for this stuff, but at the same time, you're also learning as you go too, and it's also that same DIY work ethic that was big in the punk scene back in the day, like Black Flag. When they couldn't find a record label that was willing to publish them, they just said fuck it, we'll do it ourselves, and that's how SST got started. Like I think even the Misfits were self-published too. Like they made they produced and sold their own records.
If there's anything that you realize about a lot of pop culture stuff, is that it didn't start off with a millionaire funding it. They are passion projects. Pure and simple.
Yeah, I mean, even if you want to cite even you want to cite guys like Scorsese who went to film school and actually know what they were doing, still be like, I mean, you're only half right, because there is a guy who loves making movies. Like, I don't think he's ever made a movie that he wasn't passionate about on some level.
It's crazy to me to think about how a movie called Dark Star, if that was never made, then we wouldn't have the movies of John Carpenter. We wouldn't have Alien, you know, because of one little film that was made for a college project. We got stuff that's going to be remembered forever. No matter how much the big corporate studio is going to ruin a franchise like Alien, that first one will still be remembered. The second one will still be remembered.
Yeah, third one, some people like it, some people don't.
And the fourth one is on how not to do a movie.
It's it's funny. Joss Whedon is more embarrassed by Titan AE than he is of Alien Resurrection.
That's because he did some mental gymnastics and decided it was the director's fault. It was so bad, not his terrible script. And to be honest, it has the Joss Whedon style, where it was more about the jokes than about the story. He focused more on the jokes, ignored stuff like the aliens' acid blood. To him, the joke about Weyland-Yutani being bought out by Walmart was more important than remembering the acid blood. So that's supposed to take the guns out of the picture.
Yeah, I have not seen that movie in so long. I didn't even remember that part. I just remember that it was really bad.
Yeah. But remember,
the
director's fault.
I never actually touched a physical copy. I saw it on TV.
Sometimes the TV version is the worst version, but I like to think that it doesn't matter which version you saw. They're both gonna be bad.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Speaking of bad movies, and this actually can tie into Thanksgiving a little bit, and we can probably put this down for a later show. MST3K's tradition of running marathons on Thanksgiving. I don't think there was ever another show that made a bigger deal out of Thanksgiving than Mystery Science Theater.
If it's anything, Joel Hodgson was very passionate about MST3K.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Actually, no, he still is, because he's doing a Kickstarter for MST3K right now.
Really?
Yep.
Really, it's on right. It's
on.
Hold the phone. I gotta look this up. This is the one. Let's make more MST3K and build the Gizmoplex.
No, it's the one where they want to make more MST3K.
The one that says it was last updated Halloween this year. This went up. This one went up 2 years ago.
Yeah, there's another one. Or it could be that the new campaign isn't up yet.
Well, yeah. Well, let me show you. Is this the one you're talking about?
Okay, it is what I'm talking about, but they're not running a crowdfunding campaign. You can click on it, and you can actually
you can still pledge for it. That's what it says on the page.
Yes. Yep. Oh, they've got their own crowdfunding platform. So they're not on Kickstarter. They're on.
Well, they're done. The Kickstarter's done, but they're still taking donations.
No, what's going on is that they're done with Kickstarter, but they've got it going up on another crowdfunding platform called, it looks like Showmaker. It kind of looks like it's a crowdfunding site that MST3K has, because of all I see is the MST3K branding on it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it is a MST3K crowdfunding site. Well, that's interesting. Something to investigate for our own future campaigns.
Yeah, I might need to make a note of that. But yeah, as far as MST3K's his relationship with Thanksgiving, we could do a whole episode on that, because I mean, like anyone who remembered watching Mystery Science Theater back in the day, you'll remember like how big their Turkey Day marathons were. Well, I mean, how big of a deal they were.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's actually been something they've been doing on YouTube for years,
oh
where
yeah,
they do a Turkey Day special.
oh yeah, they just live stream a bunch of old episodes.
Yep.
Well, I think I caught a bit of that last year.
It's interesting how Shout Factory is willing to do that. Honestly, though, I sure do hope that Shout Factory doesn't have any kind of skeletons in the closet that'll bring down the company, because that is a great company.
This has nothing to do with the recent revelations that an executive at IDW was using company funds to pay off sugar babies, and that's another reason why that company's circling in the drain.
There are other reasons why the company is circling the drain, but embezzlement is not helping.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just for anyone who's doesn't know, like Ben Templesmith tweeted out that he found out that said executive had been let go from the company, and if I was that guy, I'd be grateful that that's all that happened. Because honestly, it is honestly amazing he's not in jail.
To a degree, I don't know how. I don't know if what they found was something that they could take action against, or because I remember that was I remember hearing about how that was one of the reasons why Rob Liefeld was let go from Image, was there was an accusation of him of embezzlement, funds. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and stop this here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Rob Liefeld embezzled. I'm just saying,
Allegedly, that was why.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of... Early Image had a lot of wild stories.
Yeah. And to be fair, like, back then, McFarlane and Lee were about the only two who really had their act together.
And Eric Larson is still a weirdo.
Yeah. And when I say had their act together, like, they were the only two that really kind of understood that, oh, we actually have to run a business now.
Yeah. And to their credit, they also realized that they couldn't rely on their artistic ability forever. They actually had to have stories involved.
Yeah, but yeah.
So, I've been talking about Campfire.
Mm-hmm.
This great website where a writer can build their world in extreme detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've toyed around with it a little bit. There's a lot of features, I'll say that. It's pretty user friendly.
And even though there's a subscription fee to it, there are reasons why I don't mind. One of them is that it's an option, because you can either do it as a monthly basis, or you can do with a lifetime subscription.
Really? Because I haven't noticed any fees. I mean, like, you can just sign up with an account for free, but like certain features are locked behind a paywall, right?
Well, they're not locked. They're basically, you've got minimal amounts you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's very limited, but the subscription isn't for all of them. So, let's say you can't, that there are certain things you want, but you don't want the rest. You can customize it. So you could pay anywhere from $1 a month to $14 a month.
That might explain though why I haven't really gotten as much out of it as you, because I think I've been using the free service.
Yeah, I decided to bite the bullet and go and do $11 a month, and it's very in depth. Let's just say.
So really, you would definitely be encouraging people to try and sign up for a subscription just because you will get a lot more out of it that way.
Oh yeah, and they've also been tinkering with monetization, so eventually it'll start paying for itself.
Yeah, I should hope
And
so.
when it comes to monetization, they're not going to hit you with a exclusivity contract. So you can have your work on there, and it'll be perfectly fine for you to have it up on Amazon or any other online bookstore. I believe with monetization, you get 80% of the profits, which is a lot more than what Amazon does and publishers.
Now you said you're gonna be putting like the new Mythics short story up on Campfire later this month.
Yep.
Do,
And
do you have to be subscribed in order to access it, or is that going to be public?
it's going to be public.
So basically, as long as you've got an account there, you'll people will be able to see it.
Yep. And from what I understand about monetization is that basically it's not so much they purchase a subscription to your profile, but it's more of a they pay once and then they get the book and whatever you want to give them in terms of the world building.
All right. Okay.
So this is going to be a very cool thing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like it could. That does sound like it could be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like, do you get a ballpark when we can expect Witch's Child up on Campfire?
Yeah, I'm going to put it up on Tuesday. Basically, my plan is that 1 week after the release on Patreon, it'll go to Campfire.
All right then. Okay, so yeah,
Campfire and Wattpad.
all right, Tuesday the 7th then. At the time this has been recorded, because when I upload,
Oh yes.
yeah, because I'll be uploading this on Friday.
So by now you'd already will have seen it and read it, and they can leave a comment on the podcast about it.
I'll leave a link in the description, just so you guys can find it. And fuck, I'll even pin a comment with a link too. And I guess we're gonna end the episode this week. Get up on Campfire, and if not, if you don't want to, or if not, get up on the Mythoverse Patreon. And also follow us on Twitter if you can. No, I'm not calling it X. I don't care I don't care about the rebranding. Nobody calls it X.
Well, some people call it the platform formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, I have yet to see anyone actually refer to it as X in conversation.
Nobody does.
Exactly. Hey. We'll see you guys next week.
Later, guys.